Back in 1844, a house opened its doors for business for the very first time, and tourism in Croatia began. On a small town in the northern Adriatic, surrounded by mountains, beautiful sea, incredible nature, Villa Angiolina and the wonderful manicured park around it opened its business as the first villa taking in tourists in Croatia. 180 years have passed since that time, and Opatija has grown to be one of the giants of Croatian tourism. It's famous as more of an upper-class resort place where people come for the beautiful Austro-Hungarian architecture, for the nature, for the temperate climate. There's very good medical tourism here, and for its incredible lungomare, this wonderful 12-kilometre coastal strip where you just walk along, and every 50 metres or so it seems you're entering into a different beach, a different vibe. It really is one of the most unique places on the Croatian coast. And to mark the 180th anniversary of Croatian tourism, there's a big new arrival on the scene in Opatija. The first ever internationally branded 5-star hotel, branded by Curio by the Hilton. It's called Keight, and I'm here now for 2 or 3 days just checking it out. It just opened in June of 2024, and we're 6 weeks in, and I'm sitting on the wonderful rooftop terrace by the pool here, overlooking the Adriatic. This is the only rooftop terrace bar in the whole town, and it's become a hit already. The story of this hotel is really quite interesting. It goes back to several decades ago when a young girl called Katarina, or Katica, emigrated from what was then Yugoslavia with her blacksmith father and housewife mother and brother and sister to the kingdom of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, which today is Zambia, Zimbabwe and Malawi. And having grown up and educated there, she decided to come back with her parents when they decided to retire in Croatia. And so she came back to this land where she had been born, and decided to open her own travel agency with independence back in the 90s. And from that inauspicious beginnings, Katarina Hauptfeldt has become one of the real giants of Croatian tourism, and her internationally globally famous Katarina line is the leading small ship island hopping experience you can have on the Adriatic, and she has a number of boats, and she's been incredibly successful, and she's built all this on her own. And when she was growing up, she always remembers her teacher telling her that there is no such word as cannot. In a male-dominated world, really driven things forward and done an amazing job. She's a real credit to Croatia and to Croatian tourism. Boats are sort of temporary things though, and Katarina decided that she wanted to leave something of a legacy from Opatija, where she's from. And so she bought this piece of land some time ago, and in 2019 she started building what she wanted to be was a legacy hotel in memory of her late husband, Mitch, or Milenko, and also something for her children and grandchildren in the future, as well as to give something back to Croatia and to mark this wonderful town. The hotel itself is very modern. It's kind of shaped almost like on a boat, really, and this feels like the top deck of a boat, and the rooms themselves are very, very spacious. They're very light, the windows everywhere. And as you can see, when I woke up the other morning at 6 in the morning, I went to bed with all the windows, all the curtains back, just to sort of get that sort of early morning light. And it was really quite a magnificent start to the day. Some time ago, I was talking to a hotel owner, and he told me that the secret to a satisfied hotel guest are the 3 Bs. If you have a good bed, a good bathroom, and a good breakfast, that is the basic thing that a guest will take away. And I've stayed in many hotels in my time here in Croatia, and I can really vouch for the fact that Keight here really does pass the test with the 3 Bs. The bed itself, as you can see, the room was really, really spacious, and going into the bathroom, everything functional, obviously, but also where else can you actually sit and have a bath with a glass of wine overlooking the Adriatic? It was really, really one of the most special parts of my stay, actually, just sitting there for an hour watching the world go by. And as for breakfast is very, very variable in Croatia, but as you can see from this quite magnificent spread, there's plenty on offer here at Keight for breakfast. And what I liked about it also, there's also an a la carte menu as well. You can have things from there. But what I liked about it was the very much open space of the hotel. It feels much more like a home than anything else. And you have the opportunity to sit more formally in the dining area, or more relaxed in the sort of lounge area, or then again outside, and you have these wonderful cascading waterfalls next to the table. It really has a nice ambience to it. I was only here for 2-3 nights, but it immediately felt like a homey sort of place in a way that most luxury hotels don't manage to do that. A lot of them are quite generic, and this one is very much attention to details. The hotel is called Keight. The origin of the name is a deference to obviously the owner, Katarina, or Katica, or also in Croatian that gets reduced to Kate, or also Kate in English. And spelling, as in the number 8 is her Katica's favourite number, but also the I is the sign of infinity, and this is a project which is built to last for infinity. So for a luxury hotel, you also have lots of extra features, and so if you go down to the first floor down below, I went to the wellness centre. This only has 54 rooms, so it's quite a small hotel really. But there we have a 25-metre swimming pool down below. There was a really nice wellness centre with a couple of different types of sauna. I went and checked out the Thai massage, which was absolutely fantastic. And there's also a conference room as well. And so thinking about it with my Zagreb hat on, for companies that want to come away and do a team building, this is absolutely ideal because it's only 2 hours from Zagreb, and there are very, very few hotels with this level of service and facility that are open 12 months a year, that are only 2 hours drive from Zagreb. And so this is an ideal place to come in sort of October, November time to get away and to get to the coast and, you know, have a bit of life. And you're in the centre of town here. There's still stuff going on Opatija, and you have a very, very self-contained unit here within the hotel itself. The building itself, although it's quite modern, was built in very expensive Istrian stone, and that's kind of again a local connection. But also, if you come to the cocktail bar, you can come and have your very individual cocktails. There are two. One is called Keight, which I'm trying now, which is pretty good. And then they also have a cocktail called Opatija 180, which is a recognition of the fact we have 180 years of tourism here in Opatija, the oldest tourism in Croatia. One of the things I really liked about Keight was the fact that there is a strong bond within the hotel and the community itself. And so the general manager, Davor, who's doing an excellent job, is an Opatija native, as is the architect who designed the hotel. And there are lots and lots of very nice sort of Opatija touches all around the hotel as you go. And I'm in the main restaurant here, and behind me you have one of the sort of murals with the motifs. You have the camellia flower, which is a symbol of Opatija. And down here to my right you have some railings going down to the Lungomare, this 12-kilometre stretch, which is really a fantastic walk if walking is your thing, right by the Adriatic. And in the middle here we have the Piero clown figurine, and this is a huge symbol of the hotel. It's also the name of the restaurant here. And this is in deference and in memory of Katica's late husband, Miljenko, who was a passionate collector of the Piero figurines. And as you come into the hotel, one of the first things you see on the right-hand side is the collection of figurines that he had. So it's a nice hotel that is reaching out to the memory of her husband and also reaching out to the town itself, connecting and stuff like that. And it actually works really well. And I've been in many, many hotels in Croatia, and this really does have a local, homely feeling in a way that I haven't really seen in many five-star hotels here along the coast. The first thing that happened to me when I came to the restaurant was I was brought after the menu and ordering, I was brought a complimentary basket of bread and a little starter, which was tuna with truffle pate and some complimentary olive oil. And my heart absolutely arose because I realized that this was a restaurant that was serious about its gastronomy. Before I came to Croatia, I'd probably had about half a litre of olive oil in my life. And then when I married into a Dalmatian family, that became about half a litre a week. And so after 20 years, I know a lot more about Croatian olive oil than perhaps I should. And to see these 3 bottles, one was from Ipša, and this was a man, Claudio Ipša, who planted 1,100 olive trees to much mockery. And a few years later, he became the first Istrian olive oil producer in the illustrious Flossole guide. And for the last 9 years now, Istria has been the top region in the world for its olive oil in the Flossole, and has over 50 producers every year in the top 500, including the Keight brothers, the other 2 bottles here. And the Keight brothers are my favourite tourism story, but also they were named last year as the top olive oil hospitality in all of Europe. So when you go into a restaurant and you see that sort of quality at the beginning, you just know that this is a business which is paying attention not only to quality, but also to local suppliers. And it was really, really nice to see. I was really surprised and impressed by the wine list. A lot of the time you see with wine lists, they go for the classics up and down the coast from Dalmatia and from Istria. But here there was a real sort of look at the rest of Croatia as well. And so for the first evening, I had a bottle of the Apolitico Sauvignon Blanc from Virovitica. And then last night I tried the Žlatina, the local wine from this region. But they were also reasonably priced. I mean, for a 5-star hotel to get a bottle of wine at 29 euros, I thought was exceptionally good value for this kind of catering. As for the food itself, delicious, but very much a concentration on local food from the Kvarner region, and up to 80% of the ingredients actually from this local region here. So it's a real chance to try some of the seafood delicacies. The shrimps here are very, very popular. They have a special type of pasta on called Šurlica, which I recommend you try. That's something that's very, very native to Krk and to this region. Again, 5-star hotel, but in a really, really, really relaxed atmosphere. And I have to say that just the general ambience of the whole place has been extremely relaxing. Currently, there are plans to develop the square right in front of the hotel into the main square of Opatija. In future years, it will become an even more desirable place to be. But this is a hotel that really, although you're 50 meters away from the coast and from that wonderful walk, and all the facilities, and there's plenty of cafes and restaurants around, it really is a self-contained unit. And I was here working, I had lots of work to do during the day. The room was really, really spacious, was really, really comfortable. And then all these different facilities with the Thai massage, with the swimming, with the sauna, the gym, then the rooftop terrace if you wanted to relax, and the chance to dine inside and outside. For a hotel which is just 54 rooms, I thought it was exceptionally good. And a word to the staff as well. I watch a lot of the staff when I come to hotels, and there's a real sort of feeling of togetherness here. And they've only been going 6-7 weeks, but and I was expecting quite a few mistakes or things missing, but actually it's going really, really well. And so this is Keight. It's a Curio by Hilton hotel, which is one of the leading brands of the Hilton, and I think they've been an excellent choice. And this really is a fantastic addition to the higher end of Croatian tourism, and I encourage you to visit. And if you do, stop by on the rooftop terrace and have a cocktail. Cheers.